Morning. We will get started. So thank you for coming, giving up your Saturday morning to be here, first of all. This is the first year that we have done these both virtual and in-person kind of coaching clinics for youth coaches at each of the levels. So this is our U14 one. We are going to do rec ones, U12 and U13, U11 as well. If you don't coach U14, it's not the end of the world. Most of what we do here today is going to be applicable no matter what level you are coaching at. It just might be slightly different skills that we were talking about. I am Kyle Woodworth. I'm the men's performance lead now with Basketball in New Brunswick. I've coached everything from U9 with my son the last couple of years up to the university level and provincial teams and that sort of thing. So have a experience at a different or at a variety of levels. So what we're talking about today, we're trying to get skills and how we teach those skills specifically at the U14 level. If we could just, or if I could just get, how many of you were on the call on Thursday night? A few, about half, okay. If we could maybe just, where we're a smaller group, if you don't mind introducing yourself and just saying where you're from and what level you were actually coaching at, just so we can get to know each other. I'll start with you. Right? Okay. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Merrick Dodd, used to be the Funny Fourth, now Southwest Basketball Association, U14 boys.
Okay, awesome. So again, thanks for coming here and giving up your Saturday morning. I would like this to be as interactive as it can be so that you guys get the most out of it. So we have a team coming, a U14 team coming for 10:30. So the last part of this will be kind of me taking them through a practice. The main goal of today, so on the call on Thursday, we talked kind of about the skills and concepts that we would like or that are age appropriate for U14. Today is going to be more about how do we actually build a practice to incorporate some of the stuff that we talked about there. So we'll see through that practice that we put them through. It'll be about an hour, and then we'll have time for some questions and stuff like that at the end. It would be what a regular practice would look like. I might just go through it a little bit quicker. There'll be less actual teaching and correction. It'll be more about how the practice itself is built that we want you to take away. For the next hour, we'll talk a little bit about the theory behind or what we would like to see with building practices. And then we'll also, I'm going to get you, if you don't mind, or you can watch if you want to, we'll take you through some shooting stuff, especially to show how we can incorporate decision-making into our shooting. Okay? Obviously, we're not going to be correcting anybody's shot form or anything like that. It's more about just how can we build drills to get some of the concepts that we are talking about. The biggest thing, for those of you that were on the call on Thursday, the biggest thing that we want to see, or where I think we can improve as coaches in general, is not coaching skills by themselves in isolation and making sure that we are adding decisions into everything that we do, right? So people, yes, we need young athletes to be able to shoot the basketball, dribble the basketball, pass the basketball, but they also have to be able to do that while making decisions and knowing when they should apply different skills, right? So we could sit here and we could have a kid shoot for 30 minutes and work on form shooting, and their form's probably going to look great. And as soon as we put defense in there in a game, their shot form looks completely different, or they're not sure when they should shoot it. When am I actually open? When should I shoot the basketball? Or we sit here and do stationary ball handling drills for 30 minutes, and again, it's going to look great. And as soon as we put a defender on there, they can't dribble the ball with their head up anymore. So we're going to look at how we can actually incorporate decision-making into everything that we do in our practice. The easiest way to do that right off the bat is to just make sure that everything that we do has defense. Okay? So if we're going to do ball handling, we're going to do ball handling somehow with a defender included. If we're going to do passing, we're going to do passing somehow with a defender included. So if we can just incorporate defense into everything that we do, immediately our skill development, the rate that we learn at is going to go up significantly. Okay. Having said that, the key there is to be able to design activities where we are allowing them to still be successful with the skill that we are asking them to do with a defender. So it might not always be live defense. It might be that we're giving the defender like guides that they want to make. So I'm always going to force the basketball left, or I'm always going to force it right. Then we're going to force them to make a decision as to which way they have to go, right? So we've got to meet them at their appropriate skill level. So again, a lot of what we talk about today will be how do we actually design those games so that we can get to the skills that we want to get to, and not just, it can't be just, I'm going to play 3-on-3 for the whole practice. We need to be able to play maybe 3-on-3 for a whole practice, but design it in a way that we're still emphasizing the skills that we want to emphasize. Okay, so we will look at that today. One thing that we as coaches, and it can be difficult at times to get used to or to accept, is that if we practice in this manner, where we are playing small-sided games, we are using defense, we are asking kids to make decisions as they build their skills, practice is going to be very messy at times, right? It's not going to be like, let's have a drill where we line up and have to make 20 right-hand layups in a row, because that is great. We might make 20 right-hand layups in a row, then we might make 20 left-hand layups in a row, and as a coach, we go away feeling really good at the end of practice because everything looked really clean, and then we go play the next day and nothing carries over, right? The game, especially at the youth level, but at every level, the game is chaotic, the game is messy. So if our practices are clean and everything is structured and laid out exactly how things should be for them, then they go and play in that chaos of a game, things don't translate over. So we have to be willing to give up a little bit of control in practice, or live with things looking a little bit messy in practice, and still be able to teach the skills that we want to teach within that. Okay? The best way that we can do that if we are playing games is to use constraints. Okay? And some of you, I know if you take a Learn to Train course, you talk a little bit about constraints there. So constraints are just rules that we put in place within our games that let us emphasize the things that we want to emphasize. Okay, so there's a couple different types of constraints. We could use like a time as constraint. So if we're playing one-on-one, for example, or it could be a dribble constraint. A lot of people would play one-on-one, but say you have 3 dribbles max to try and score, right? That would be a type of constraint. Or we could play one-on-one and say you have 3 seconds from the time that we become live to try and score. All of those things are constraints, okay? It could be space constraints. So we could say we're going to play 3-on-3 from the wing, so from this area over here, but the other side of the floor, anything past the opposite lane line is out of bounds, because we know in a game there's 4 other people over there, right? 2 other offensive players and 2 other defensive players. So if we're going to play 3-on-3, we might put a space constraint in there, okay? The way we keep score is a large part of constraining drills like this. So if we were working, for example, on cutting, like, well, part of what we're going to do in our practice today is cutting from the weak side. So if we wanted to emphasize corner cuts from the weak side, and we'll see that as we go through practice today, if we want to emphasize corner cuts from the weak side, we can say we're going to play 3-on-3. Every basket is going to be worth 1 point. If we cut from the weak side at the proper time, that's going to be worth 3 points. Okay, and then we don't really have to, like, we don't have to stop every rep to correct the cutting. Players are going to want to win the drill, so they're going to naturally look to cut more than they would otherwise, right? Because it's worth extra points. Or shot selection. We do this a lot with our team. Shot selection, maybe if we can get a layup inside the smile, okay, so like a foot inside the charge circle, that's going to be worth 5 points. If we get a catch and shoot 3, that's going to be worth 3 points. Anything else in the mid-range or outside the smile or a 3 off the dribble, that's going to be worth 1 point. Okay, so it's not that we're never going to shoot those shots, but we're trying to emphasize the type of shots that we want them to get. Then we don't have to spend a lot of time correcting shot selection. It's just if they want the 5 points, they're hunting those smile layups first, then they're looking for catch and shoot 3s, then they're looking for anything else, maybe if we're late in the shot clock. Okay, so those type of constraints can help, again, emphasize what you want to get out of a practice. So most people are pretty comfortable with team concepts, teaching them in that game setting. We're going to look a little bit this morning as well about how do we do that with skill-based work. So like shooting, ball handling, those type of things that we traditionally would see done on air. How do we actually incorporate defense, or how do we incorporate decision-making into those skills as well, so that they will carry over more to a game? Okay. Any questions so far? No. How many of you would say right now, and it's fine either way, how many of you would say right now that you do a lot on air in practice, meaning we're doing skill work with no defense or anything like that? So ball handling, shooting, okay? Everyone else is using mostly defense in their skill work? Okay, awesome. You're what? Sorry? Half and half, okay? And there's still time. There's certainly still time to do stuff on air. What I would say is, morning, come on in. What I would say is if we are in a situation where we have our athletes twice a week for an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half, we don't need to spend that time necessarily doing stuff on air. A kid can go and shoot on their own and get form shooting or get just reps up with nobody else in the gym with them. Okay? So when we have the athletes and we have a group together, those are times that we want to get as many reps in as we can with defense and with decisions. So if I could get, we'll start with shooting. If I could get whoever wants to participate, just come out here and we'll show a couple different ways. So you're welcome to sit and watch. You're welcome to participate. Hopefully we have at least 2 or 3 people participating. We'll show some ways that we can incorporate decision making into our shooting. Get 3 of you there. Yeah, you can come on. We need partners, so if we could have. Okay, so this is what we would call, or what I would call BDT shooting. This comes from, if you've ever heard of basketball immersion or Chris Oliver, he's kind of the one that pushed this type of thing to start with. So all I'm going to do, we can do this at one net. So I'll get, you guys partners? So I'll get one of you to be a shooter, and we'll do the same thing here. One of you to be a shooter. So whoever has the basketball, go stand in the smile. And you can stand wherever you feel comfortable with your shooting range. You have a basketball, you can stand in the smile. And you can stand wherever your shooting range is. So with this, I'm just going to move whatever's behind you, that rock. Clay or something. So we can get to wherever our shooting range is comfortable. If you are doing U14 and they're comfortable shooting threes, then get them to shoot threes. If they're not, then get them to move in. I would say have them at the edge of their shooting range here to start with. So all we're going to do, we have a passer and a shooter. We are always going to shoot 3 shots before we change. But we're not just going to catch and shoot. Every time they catch, they need to make a decision. So our passer is going to give that decision. So I'll get you two to demonstrate here. So all you're going to do is you're going to throw a pass. And when he catches it, oh, no, back up, sorry. When he catches it, we'll do that in a second. We're going to give him one of 2 reads. If our passer just stands there with his hands down, you're going to shoot the basketball. If he passes it to you and gives a target, you're going to pass the basketball back to him. Okay, let's show that here a couple times. Hands down, so we're going to shoot it. Good. Or if he passes to you and gives the targets, we pass it back, then he'll pass it back to you, and his hands are down, so we're going to shoot it. Right? So let's just do that for with you guys, let's just do it for 30 seconds. You can both be shooting at the same time. Switch after 3 shots. We'll go for about a minute. Switch after 3 shots. That's all right. You are on video, though. That's okay. That happens. Okay, now, so one thing, if we're going to let them play like this or let them make decisions, we can't necessarily try to be correcting or intervening on every rep. We have to let them go for a little bit. So what I would do is I would let them go for a little bit. I'd watch, and then we'd pick, if it's something that needs to be corrected with an entire group, we would actually stop and correct it there. If it's something that we see with just one athlete, then we would stop, or we'd kind of pull that group aside and talk to them. So the biggest thing I'd say is when we start doing this is that players, and our group here is doing the same thing, every time they catch the basketball, they're so worried about getting their read that they're not actually ready to shoot it when they catch it. So what I would say, we'll go for another second, we need to catch every shot as if we are going to shoot it, and then adjust if we get the pass read. So if we're going to catch to shoot it, that means like our feet and hands need to be ready. I'm in my kind of shot form, shot ready. And then if I see a target, then we'll make a pass. And one thing, especially once you get kids making these, giving these reads, is they'll be slow to give a read, or they're like trying to trick their teammate. Make sure that you get them to recognize that's not what it's about. So if I'm giving a pass back target, I'm not waiting until they're here and then throwing my hands up. Okay, I make my pass and then I give a target right away. Okay, so we'll just go for another 30, 45 seconds here. Catch everything, ready to shoot. Okay, good. We can pause. Thank you. I'll get you guys to stay here, though. Just pause. Sorry. That's good. Yep, you're good. So we can see there the pace picked up a little bit, which is great. I'll get you guys to stay out here because we're going to add to it. So two things I would say. One is when we are introducing a new drill or a new concept, I would let them, so if you notice like when that drill started, I told them how to execute the actual drill. I didn't give them any technical instruction. Because if I give them, they're so worried when they first started doing it as to what should this drill actually look like, they would have forgot anything that I told them technically, right? So we give them the instructions as to how does this drill or how does this game actually flow, let them figure that part out, then stop them 30 or 45 seconds in, and we'll make a correction and see if they can implement that correction, or give them the point of emphasis, or see if we can implement that point of emphasis. Now, that gets us to the other kind of key part if we are going to structure practices with this games approach, is we need to be able to load drills or deload drills if necessary. So all that means, if we're talking about loading drills, is I'm going to take the activity that we are doing right now and we're just going to add something to it. Okay, so the kind of old way of practicing would be we're going to run 3-man weave for 10 minutes, then we're going to do another drill for 10 minutes and another drill for 10 minutes, and we're constantly having to teach kids how to actually run the drill itself. So with this, they've learned how to run this actual drill. We're getting lots of shot reps because they're now shooting at a pretty good pace. Now we're just going to keep adding things to this drill to emphasize different things rather than try and teach them a whole new drill to change their emphasis. So all we're going to add right now is one more read or one more decision. So we've already got target is pass back, hands down is shoot. Now we are going to, if that person passes me the basketball and runs at the offensive player, instead of shooting it, we are going to attack the rim and score. Okay, so 3 reads now. We have pass back, shoot it, run at the player, and we're going to attack that closeout and go score. We can run, you can do this with 2 or 3 groups at the same net. If they are all attacking at the same time, that is fine. It's a good chance to teach kids that they need to be aware of the space around them when they are attacking. I wouldn't do it with like 7 groups at a net, but 3 or 4 is okay. They can get to a rim and be on 2 feet in balance. So we'll show that here, same 2 reads, and then add that running at him. We'll still do 3 shots before we switch. Yep. Okay, and you guys can keep going here while I talk, keep doing that. So if there was some technical point that we were working on with attacking or shooting or that sort of thing, we would be correcting those technical points. Obviously, with coaches out here and not an actual team that we're coaching, we'll just let them go so that we see what the drill is. Okay, good. Freeze. Thank you. So we said, if you were on the call the other night, we said the 2 main decisions that we had in basketball, or the 2 main broad categories of decisions that we were really focused on with the U14 group was, when do I shoot, pass, or drive on my initial catch? So what we just did was kind of training that decision. The second one is, when I actually drive, what do I do next? So I go finish at the rim. Do I pass to a teammate? So we haven't really built that decision in first. We were working on that shoot, pass, drive decision. I'm going to add one more thing to it, just so you can kind of see what our progression would be. And you could do this We could build this to 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, and build an entire practice out of this structure. So the only other thing we will do with the read is, I'll show this one just because it's harder to explain. So now if I pass it, okay, if I pass it and I still give him a target, he's going to pass back, hands down, he will shoot. I can run straight at him and he's going to drive. If I run to a side, so if I pass it to you and I come out here, now we're going to get some ball handling incorporated in there too. So he started to attack that way, which is great. He's reading me as to where he should drive, but we're trying to build a ball handling part to this. So what you're going to do is you're going to drive at me, and then you're going to make some type of counter move to go switch directions. So it could be a crossover, whatever we're comfortable with, behind the back, between the legs, spin move, whatever it is. So you'll go towards me first and then counter away. If I run out to this side, you'll come towards me and counter away again and then finish at the rim. This is where we have to make sure kids are giving clear decisions, because if I run straight at him, he's going straight to the rim. So what we don't want is a player like running this way where he's not sure if I'm to the side or straight on. We want to make our reads clear. So can you show that here? So we'll just give him the read to make a counter move. Yep. Okay, and then you can let him go. Once you give him the read, let him go to the rim. So let's just show again 30, 45 seconds. Let's just show that here, please. Yeah, both. We can go both at once. Okay, so we can see, you guys can stop, thank you. We can see now that we've added this, you can see like the processing time is a little bit slower, right? Which is fine. We could have done this. We could have spent 20 minutes doing, I'm going to catch and shoot for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to catch and attack the rim for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to catch and dribble to my left and cross over back for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to dribble to my right and cross over back to the middle for 5 minutes. And it would look good, but it's not going to translate to a game because they never have to make a decision. So we spent time doing this. It was a little bit messy when we added that last one. There was a little bit of confusion, but that's fine because when they get in the game, there's going to be confusion as to what decision they should make as well. And as you do it more and more, that processing time speeds up and they're able to make decisions quicker. Good. Any questions about any of that? Okay. We can incorporate ball handling into this as well. So, and again, if anybody else wants to participate, feel free to grab a basketball. So I'll show again here with you guys, if you don't mind. So we'll have now just one person with a basketball. So now we're getting away from the shooting part of it. This is how we could make this same decision training with basketball. So all we're going to do is we're going to have one person. We'll start out with just right hand pound dribbles. So you're going to be in a stance, just dribbling the ball as hard as you can with your right hand. Whenever he gives a target, you're going to pass him the basketball. He'll pass it back to you. Then you'll dribble hard with your left hand, pass it back to him, and we'll just keep going like that for a second. Okay, let's show it here once. Oh, just stay. Sorry, just stay. That's all right. Just stay and dribble with your left hand. And then when he gives the target, make that pass back. And then right. Yep. So we're switching hands every time. Okay, good. Freeze. So one thing, we'll talk about this when we actually get the athletes in here in a little bit. One thing we really want to start to emphasize, especially like if you're anywhere near my age and you were playing, you would have got, every time you made a one-handed pass, your coach would have yelled at you. Now we want to emphasize being able to pass off one hand. So if I'm here dribbling with my right hand and he gives me a target, I don't want to do this because now it's too slow. So when he gives me a target, it's just there and I'm snapping it off the dribble. Same thing with our left hand. He gives a target and I'm just snapping it off the dribble. Now, let's try that and see what it looks like. Okay, so we're never allowed to put, so this would be a constraint. We're not allowed to put a second hand on the basketball before we pass it. Okay, so go ahead. Okay, so that's good. That's what I figured would happen, and it's great. As soon as we ask them to throw a one-hand pass with their left hand, we're going to have balls going every place. That's okay. Okay, and that's one of those things where if you have athletes that have never been coached this way before, they need to know as well that it's okay that the ball is going every place. Okay, so we have to make it safe for athletes to make mistakes. I can't jump in and try and correct every time somebody throws a left-hand pass off the dribble and it goes out of bounds. We also need to make sure, like, if we just emphasize being able to pass off one hand with both hands off the dribble, and an athlete comes down the floor, all of a sudden we go play 3-on-3, and they come down the floor and they make the right decision, but they try and throw a pass with their left hand and it goes off that back wall. We can't get mad at them at that point for turning the basketball over. We've got to, like, praise the fact that they made the right decision and they tried to throw it with their left hand. That's where we as coaches need to get comfortable with that. Okay, we're going to add to this. So now, same drill. We can maybe flip just so it's somebody else doing it. So flip spots. Same drill. Now we're just going to add in the same read that we had before. So we've got the target. Now if I'm dribbling with my right hand and my partner runs at me, I'm going to, without picking up my dribble, I'm going to attack off the dribble and get a layup at the rim. Okay, so let's show that. So we can still give a target. Switch hands every time. If he runs at me, we're attacking. Good, and for now we'll just run straight at them. We won't. Okay, freeze, good, thank you. One thing I would correct with this group, and you guys a little bit too, is we want to make sure, if we're doing this as a drill, we want to make sure as much as possible that the person giving the reads is between the player and the rim, right? So, because then we're teaching kids that every time they catch, their vision should be going to the rim and not, I'm going to catch and look here for a read, right? So we want, so yeah, we might need to spread out a little bit there. Okay, last thing we'll add to this. And again, if we were doing this with kids, we'd give them more than 20 seconds to make these decisions. Okay, so last thing we will add here. Now, if I have this dribble going here, I'll show this one again. So now he's got his dribble. If I run at him now if I run to his left, my left, instead of a counter move, I'm going to be closer to him. If I go this way, he's going to take one dribble. Freeze, sorry, that's all right. He's going to take one dribble and try and get a jump shot off the dribble, and I'm going to try and contest that. Okay, if I can block his shot, I'll block his shot. So again, he's dribbling. I go this way, one step. He's going to take one dribble and shoot it, and I'm going to go try and block that shot. Okay, let's show that here. Oh, you can shoot it with two hands. Yeah, regular jump shot. Good question. Shoot it with two hands. Yep. Okay, good. So go opposite. Good. Read, go opposite where that defender goes. Okay, good. Thank you. Freeze. So, one thing we need to teach, especially at the U14 level, a lot of players can get their shots off the catch, but they're going to struggle to shoot it off the dribble without, like, dribbling, stopping, and giving my defender time to recover. So we can build those skills of shooting off the dribble. I'm going to get, since you have a basketball, I'll get you to stand right in the middle of these cones. And you're his partner, so I'll get you to stand in front of this cone for now. And you guys can do this in a second, too. We'll grab some more cones. So we're going to start out dribbling with our right hand. So we're inside these cones. Yeah, anywhere inside those cones, you're going to be dribbling with your right hand. You don't have to do it yet. I'll finish explaining first. You're just going to be circling around these cones. You don't have to run. You can just walk around the outside of the cones. You're going to, at any point, wherever he is, you can take a jump shot off the dribble. Okay? You're trying to block a shot. Okay, so what needs to happen is when you pick that up, you've got to get it off quick before he has time to recover. Does that make sense? So you're walking around the cones. Go ahead, walk around the cones. In any direction. You can, at any point, you can decide to shoot the basketball. Good, so we got to get it up pretty quick. Let's try that here. Maybe you guys just don't have cones, but circle, I'll grab some cones. It doesn't matter what direction, though. I mean, you could get them to change directions, but it doesn't really matter as long as we are moving in a circle. I'll get you some cones.
But as the defender, can they go back and forth? They gotta
Oh, I'd say keep going in the same
What's
direction.
the point of this though? Just pressure?
Yeah, I'll answer that 1 second. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so the question was, what's the point of this? So it's just, again, to add some context, add some perceptual cues that they have to read as to when they should shoot the basketball. We're still going to get up lots of shots. People really probably aren't getting their shot blocked when we do this. You can make the circle as big or as small as you want to, depending on the level. Like I just noticed your circle's way bigger than your circle, so you have more time to get a shot off. So you can make it as big as you want to. But again, we could sit there and say, I'm going to do 20 shots in a row off a right-hand dribble with no context, no defense there. Even though here we shouldn't be getting our shot blocked, okay, it's still letting us, we have to read where a defender is. There's some other interference besides just us focusing on the rim, okay? Then we could say, okay, we just did it with our right hand. So shooting off the dribble, what we'd really like to see is with that right hand dribble, let's see a basketball, sorry. With that right hand dribble, which we just did, assuming we're a right-hand shooter, we're really probably shooting it to do it as quick as possible. I'm bringing my left hand to the basketball and shooting that way. Right? I'm not bringing the ball across my body. So we just did all right-hand shots. Now we'll do dribbling with our left hand. The difference dribbling with our offhand is that as we're dribbling, I'm not bringing my hand all the way over here and reaching across my body. On my last dribble, I'm bringing that ball to my hand. So my actual shooting hand stays in my shot pocket the whole time. Okay, so we'll go left hand this time. I'm dribbling. When I decide I'm going to shoot it, I bring the ball to my hand instead of reaching across my body. Okay, we'll just do that for, again, 15 seconds. Okay, good. So we'll freeze. I'm just going to move the cones. Thank you. So now we're going to take that same skill and we are going to change the drill a little bit. So we're going to try and use that skill of shooting off the dribble in a little bit more live situation where they've got to actually create some space to get that shot off. So could I have one person standing at the nail or the middle of the free throw line? And I'll take the ball for a sec. If I used any language that you're not sure of, please stop me and ask me. Like, different coaches are going to use different language. So if I say something or if I use a term or vocabulary and you're not sure what I'm talking about, then just stop and ask. Probably somebody else has the same question. But do that with your athletes as well. So if I say like the nail and an athlete doesn't know what that means, to me that would be the middle of the free throw line. If they don't know what that means and I ask them to go there, they're going to spend all their time thinking about where's the nail instead of what I should be doing. So I'll get everybody else in a line right here behind me. So anybody else that's in the drill, I'll take both basketballs. You're going to start out facing the rim. And we'll have one shooter. I'll go one shooter right at the top. Let's go with top of the key right there. And maybe I'll move you down. So I would do it if we had people that were comfortable shooting threes with a little deeper range. I would start him at the nail and you behind the three. Here we'll give you a little closer shot. So all I'm going to do, you're on offense, you're on defense. We're live one-on-one. You get one dribble to try and get a shot. You're trying to block a shot. You have to keep looking at that rim until he actually dribbles the basketball. Okay, so you can't turn. I'm going to pass to you. You can dribble in either direction. Don't take one dribble right towards him because then he's just going to turn around and block your shot. Yep.
Would you have a player doing the pass or would you have a coach doing the pass?
For something like this, that's a real good question. I'm fine with a coach doing a pass this way. If you've got enough players, more often than not, you want a player making the pass. The timing of the pass here really isn't important because you're still just going whenever you're live. I'll show one in a second where the pass is more important. So here, that's a good question. I'd be fine with a coach making the pass here, but if you want to have a player doing it, then you can incorporate some skill development there as well. Okay, good question. We're going to switch every time. So as soon as you shoot, you're going to become the next defender. You can rebound and just go to the back of the line. Okay? So you're going to take a dribble in either direction, and try and get your shot off before he blocks it. Ready? Okay, not bad. So we can see now that pretty live contest. So we now need to make sure that I'm not dribbling and stopping. I've got to dribble and get into my shot right away. Now, I would say you might have cheated a little bit and looked over your shoulder to see where he was going. Kids will do that as well, so it's good that it happened. So we are listening. The defender is just listening for where the dribble is, not trying to peek over their shoulder to see where the dribble is. I'll take the basketball. Okay, so same thing here. We got one dribble to get our shot off. Okay, good. So we can see there he waited. It gave us a little more time to get that shot off. We'll just go through till everybody does it once. Okay, good. And last one just to show it. Good, and then he comes out to the test. So, and one thing you can do is read. I'll take it. Thank you. You can kind of, as you go, part of this is judging the level of your players. So if I was working at a lower level, or I recognize that there's players having difficulty getting shots off, if we're catching there, I might take that defender and put them in here further. Okay, if we're working at a higher level and people should be able to get their shots off pretty quick off the dribble, then we're just going to get closer and closer together. Right? So you can adjust these reads and the decisions that you're making as you go. Okay, now, we asked about making players passers. I'm just going to quickly grab a chair. So this one, I will get one person stand facing the chair, facing this way. I'll take both basketballs for now. One person stand right behind the chair. And I'm going to get a passer, if one of you doesn't mind being a passer, right here. Okay, and again, this is one we can adjust depending on the level. So, the person on the inside, on the basket side, you're our offensive player. You are our defensive player. Okay, we're giving the offense an advantage here. So you can move anytime you want to, and what you're going to, actually, can I just move the defense for a second? So I'll just show it without defense first. All you're going to do is you're going to run around the chair this way, and he's going to try and hit you for a catch and shoot. Catch and shoot. Okay, so no dribble yet. So he's going to hit you for a catch and shoot. So let's just show that once. We'll come off the chair. Catch and shoot. Okay, perfect. Now, we're going to do that with defense. So now you're going to be there. We're giving the offense an advantage because offense is going to go first. You're going to run around this chair this way. You have to do a full circle of the chair and come back and try and block a shot. So he's going this way. Okay? You're going to go that way, and you're going to try and contest from behind. Okay, that's all right. So here's why. Let's show it once here, I guess. Show it live. Okay, good. So here's why I would use players to pass in this drill, and I wouldn't necessarily before. So before, it didn't really matter when I was showing the drill and I was the passer. It didn't really matter when I threw that pass because the advantage was coming on the dribble. Here I would have players passing because when I throw that pass does matter. So if I take your spot for a second, and we could have two of you set up that drill. So if we come off this ready to shoot, go ahead, and I just wait and wait and wait, and I don't make the pass until now, well then he loses any advantage that he had on that shot. Right? So if we have a situation where the timing of the pass is part of maintaining the advantage, I would always use players as passers if we have enough. Okay? So let's do it. I'll put you back as a passer. Let's show it one more time, then we'll just give one little correction, and then we'll go. Yep. Okay, that's all right. Okay, so what I would say, the one thing we want to emphasize with players here is that we want to be able to create as much space as possible. You will have some players that want to catch on 2 feet, like a hop into their shot. You will have some players that want to go 1-2. I don't really care what you teach. I might teach something different to the same 12 players. I'd let them choose what they are comfortable with. But what we do want to do is to create some space on that last shot, or on that last step. So I just want you to freeze when you catch the basketball, and you can freeze when he catches the basketball as well. Okay, so he did a little better job there. So notice he's still catching that basketball pretty close to the chair. What we'd like to have happen is if you guys just clear out for a second. So for me, I'll get you to hold that. for me, I'm going to be 1-2. So like I'd go right, left into my shot. So as I come around this chair, what I want is when I get to the chair here, I would like to have my outside foot down, and that's going to be a big step into the shot, right? So as I come here, it's outside foot down. I'm exploding, and then 1-2 here, and we can create a lot more space and maintain that advantage a lot bigger. So let's show that one time, trying to do it that way. Okay, perfect. Okay, now, just to show real quick how we can load this. So we can take all of these drills, and we talk about loading drills. We can take all of these drills, and we can make them into live play. So I could start practice this way, and then I could build the rest of practice off this same type of drill. So I'll be a passer here. I'm gonna need you to go be a defensive player right at the smile, and you can go wherever you feel your shooting range is in the corner. Wherever you want to get to, yeah, right on that. Okay, now, so we're gonna give a little smaller advantage. So I'm gonna get you as a defender now to start like right here, so you get less advantage. So now, same drill, we're just loading it. You're gonna come off this. I'll get you to start a little deeper, so inside the smile to start. You're gonna come off this and just freeze when you catch it. You can go with them as defense. So now, if we feel like we have an advantage, we're still gonna shoot the basketball. If we don't, we're now just playing live 2-on-2. So you can try, hold on, freeze, come on back. That might be okay, but what we wanna do, yep, give him back the basketball, is we wanna drive and make a rim decision now. So you're gonna drive, if he stops you, you'll kick it. If he doesn't stop you, you're gonna go score. Okay, here, we'll show that live. We'll show that live one time. And you're gonna play live defense. Okay, so we'll show that here once. I don't want to get into too much live play with you guys, just so nobody turns an ankle or anything. But, so we'll just show that once, so we'll give a smaller advantage. You can be on this. So we're giving a smaller advantage now, because if we give a big advantage once we go live, we're just always going to get a jump shot. Now we might still get a jump shot, but more likely we're going to get into this 2-on-2 play. Yep. So we're giving him less of an advantage, because you don't have to go as far as you did before. Yeah, you're still doing the same thing, you're just not going as far. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so we would still go around the chair, that's fine, we would still go around the chair, but then we'd have to make a decision at the rim. So now, if you think back, we talked earlier about the two broad type of decisions that we had to make. One was that shoot, pass, drive decision. So we've been doing that everything we've done so far, they've had to make that decision. Should I shoot the basketball, pass the basketball, or drive the basketball? Now we're loading in that secondary decision. If I do decide to drive, what's my next read? Should I be finishing at the rim? Should I be moving the basketball? Okay, so we could do that 2-on-2. We could load it to 3-on-3. We could make it 4-on-4. We could make it 5-on-5. Right now, I might, if we're going 5-on-5, eventually we'd stop using a chair and we'd put something else there that's not like a safety concern in the way, but we can still start the drill the same way. And then what I would do is anytime that we are even numbers, so I would say 4-on-4 or higher. If we're 4-on-4 or higher, we're always going to add some form of transition to the drill at some point. Okay, so if it was a 4-on-4 drill, we would play it out here, whatever happened, and we would probably go down and play back at this end, and then see if those concepts carry through. Right? See if those concepts carry through as we go. Any questions there? No? Any questions or anything that anybody wants to see before we bring our team in? Anything that anybody wants to see in terms of loading drills, adding defense, any other skills that you would like to see, how we would emphasize those skills? And if you have questions, again, we'll have time at the end to show you anything that you... Yep. So in terms of what we would teach or how we'd make decisions. Okay, so how to incorporate transition. So there's two ways. And really, if we can think about kind of the phases of the game. So we have half-court offense. If you think about one team, they're going to play offense, then they're going to transition to defense. Then they've got to transition back to offense, transition to defense. Then they hopefully have to play half-court defense. Then they've got transition offense again, and that's always a cycle. So the more we can, even in a 3-on-3 drill, the more we can get players to go to the next phase, the better it will be. So for example, if I just played defense, the next thing that I'm going to have to do in the real game is to play offense, transition offense. So if it's 3-on-3, I'm probably not going transition the whole way down because it just turns into a layup drill with 3-on-3. But we might say when you get the basketball, whether it's off a score or off a stop, you have to get the ball across half. And I might just start there because then they're always thinking, what's next after I do my job? And the defense is doing the same thing. They'd be trying to stop them from getting across half. Then that's where you'd start loading constraints. If we want to play fast, okay, it's maybe I'm going to get a stop. I've got to get the ball across half in 3 seconds or less, or 4 seconds or less, or 5, whatever is appropriate for your team. So we're putting those constraints in there. We might say the defense has to pick up full court in that situation. The defense has to trap the person that gets the rebound. So there's lots of constraints that you can add in there to emphasize what you want to emphasize. Does that answer your question in terms of building that in? But again, like I said, with 4-on-4, how do we build transition? I would just say we're going to play 4-on-4 starting here, and we're just going to go down and back. Right? If you came to one of our practices, like at St. Thomas, it would just be pretty much, I would say at least an hour of our practice is we're putting them in some situation to start with. It might be like our ball screen coverage. We're going to start a possession in the half court with a ball screen, and no matter what happens, we're playing down and back for 2 trips, 3 trips, 4 trips, whatever it happens to be. If you really want to make sure, and the complaint people have with that is we're not, like let's say we're working on switching ball screens. The complaint that people would have, and that's not necessarily something you'd be teaching at U14, it was just the first thing that popped in my head. The complaint people have with that is, well, we're switching this first ball screen and then we don't get to do it again for 4 trips. Well, that's where you can put in a scoring system to emphasize ball screens. So if you score off a ball screen, it's worth 5 points or 6 points or whatever it happens to be. Now, even though it's a defensive drill, the offense should be running lots of ball screens. So the defense should have lots of chances to switch them. And if they do it properly, then that's lots of reps that they get in those ball screen situations. Okay. Any other questions before we bring them in? No? All right. So once we do, I'll give you a little bit of a break. I'm going to talk to this group really quick. So take a little bit of a break if you need to get water or whatever. Bathrooms, I believe, are around the corner if you go out there. That way? Okay. So that way, I think the locker rooms are open as well. So there's bathrooms in there. Okay. So we will try and start in like 7 minutes. I'll start with this group. I'm just going to bring them in and